I'm your host, Ana Bellinghausen. Joining me, as always, Johnny Rogers, Tommie Frazier. Guys, thank you so much for being here. How are we doing today?
I'm doing great. I just don't like this time change, but other than that, I'm doing great.
I know, it's dark outside.
It is. It makes me nervous. It gets dark at 5 o'clock. Start getting dark.
And Johnny has a pickleball game tonight, too, so you're going to have to play under the lights, prime time?
Oh, no, it's inside.
Oh, it's inside.
Oh, yeah, it's inside, not outside.
Johnny's not playing outside.
I was picturing Johnny in a pickleball arena with 10,000 fans around him.
Probably. We can do it. That's what we're looking up. We're trying to go around and find as much competition as we can.
You can't find any, though.
Well, no, we find competition, but we need more competition. You know, we have several teams that beat us a couple times, different times, but when you play them, got 10 different people in the league, you should be 7 or 8 of them should be able to beat you every now and then.
Right.
You can't get no better if you don't have competition.
You should dominate the whole league every time you play.
No, I don't want to do
You
that.
should join the Big Ten West, Johnny. That's what I'm hearing. Well, today we are proudly presented by Cornhead Lager, the perfect beer to enjoy while watching your favorite game. And purchases, again, guys, help NIL through the 1890 initiative. Super important stuff there, so go check them out or go grab a beer. And before we get into the preview of this week, let's talk a little bit about Maryland and Nebraska. 13-10 loss at home.
Do we have to?
We have to, guys.
My God.
Oh, my
Pretty
goodness.
perplexing loss. 5 turnovers. Reaction watching that one, starting with you, Tommie.
I don't get pissed about these games when they win or lose, but this one had me pissed. You know, had me want to go out and throw an axe through a tool shed or something, because it's the same story. It's like Groundhog's Day. You know, you get something going and they turn the ball over. Defense gets the ball back, gets something going, turn the ball over again, and it's like the same story over and over and over again. It's getting on my nerves.
Well, other than a couple of times that we lost during when I was playing, I can't remember another time I really got actually sad behind losing a football game by looking at it. I mean, I was actually sad. I just couldn't believe that we had turned that over. I couldn't believe that we were down there on the 5-yard line. We got trying to run the clock down.
Trying to run the clock down.
All we have to do is run it down as much as we can and kick the field goal.
Right.
Isn't that what we do?
Right, and that's what you're supposed to do. And that's what bothered me more than anything, because it was like deja vu all over again. And people don't really remember this. Go back to the Minnesota game in the first half. It was the exact same play, exact same results, exact same guy intercepted the ball, the corner. And it's kind of like, okay, you got 3 points on the board automatically. Run the ball there. Force them to use a timeout, kick the field goal, and it just, you don't put players in that position to even have opportunity to throw that ball.
That's coaching then.
Yeah, that was definitely coaching.
The whole thing is coaching. Chubba, I was really just getting into Chubba. When we walked down there, he was doing a great job.
He was having success, he was doing the things, and he's doing the things that he can do well, and then you put him in that position to where, I don't understand it, why these offensive coordinators in this time and era think that because you're on the 5-yard line, 3-yard line, you got to throw a touchdown pass to score. You know, let's go back to the old-fashioned days to where you line up and just run the ball downhill. You have to. That's how you build morale amongst your team. Right. To let them know that they can't stop you, and you can pray. Ain't no guy should be able to stop you 4 downs down on the 5-yard line. And especially you got to prove it though. And especially at that point right there, you run it 3 times because you know that you're in field goal range. You pretty much guarantee the field goal. If they stop your 3 runs, kick the field goals, now you're still up 13-10 with probably less than a minute and 5 seconds left in the game. Now their butthole gets tight. How you like me now? I'm using Johnny. How you like me now? Gets tight now.
There you go. That's one. That's one.
Now Johnny's holding you accountable.
Well, that's actually 2.
Right, guys, let's go back to that play. So it was 3rd and goal from the 7-yard line. They elect to pass. How much on that is play calling versus execution when you saw where that ball ended up?
Well, it's both. You know, you call a play, and if you go back to, I think it was Kemp, he didn't actually run a corner route. It was kind of like a banana route, too. He just rolled right into it.
Bad route.
And then the outside receiver, instead of him continuing to come across, he stopped. So now they put the corner like, well, I don't have to go anywhere. And the corner was the one who actually fell back and intercepted the ball. You know, in my opinion, if you're going to run that play, run to the wide side of the field. Give yourself more opportunity where you can get more air up on the ball to where you don't have to have a perfect pass. Right there, you got to be perfect on that play.
No, without a doubt. But how can you call a play to the short side of the field like that? I think I heard Rule say that there was a run option.
No, that wasn't a run option. That one wasn't a run option.
That wasn't.
No, that wasn't a run option.
They just went out and passed it.
That was a design pass there. That was a design pass there.
Yeah, I mean, he was in the shotgun and then had, I think it was Emmett Johnson right next to him.
Right.
But it
was a design pass.
But when you look at the quarterback play, I mean, every single guy that came on the field had a turnover, whether it was an interception or a fumble with Sims.
Yeah, they're just telling you that there's something going on in that quarterback room to where if one guy makes a mistake, it's like, okay, it's that one guy. But then the second guy comes and making mistakes, then it's those two. But the third guy, and they're making the same mistakes, you got to start wondering how they're being coached. And I'm not saying that they're not being coached the right way, but there's some way it's not translating until them being successful on the football field, not making those costly mistakes at costly times.
Yeah.
All the time, the costly time. It's not ever a good time.
But no time.
But I don't know how we can be in that situation where you would even think about doing that.
But no time.
All we had to do was kick the field goal.
But what I'm saying, John, then you're right, you don't want to turn the ball over. But even before that last, they still had 4 turnovers, but were still driving down to take the lead. And then that last interception was like, okay, oh my goodness. Now all I'm gonna have to do now is go down and kick a field goal. Or send it overtime. So I just think that you gotta start being smart about what kind of pressure you want to put on those young quarterbacks, because they obviously can't handle tough situations right now.
Well, it's quite clear what we'll be doing on the off season. We definitely got to get into the portal to get a quarterback.
And we got to learn and protecting the football.
And we definitely need linemen. We got to get in there and get some linemen.
Yes.
But that's just it's quite obvious what we need. Even though I think don't we have a couple quarterbacks that's still on the bench over there? We got one from. Every year we got a quarterback.
Yeah, non-scholarship quarterbacks.
Non-scholarship quarterbacks.
One from Texas, and one's brother played in the NFL.
Well, Chubba's
brother played in the NFL too, didn't he?
And Chubba was the one the last quarterback who made the last interception. So Chubba played.
They've been through the list, Johnny.
There's another list. It's weaker. It can't get much worse.
Are you looking at the JV team?
Whoever.
He's looking at the reserve list.
We got to throw some women in. The cheerleaders.
Hey, have you seen the video clip of Anna playing powder puff football and being a quarterback?
I should have pulled it up. I'll show you after the show, but I'm pretty good quarterback too.
Anna threw kind of a dart there.
Anna could have done it. I tell you.
My record's 2-0, so put me in, coach.
Put me in, coach.
Every day's game day.
Not every other day.
I want to go back to Satterfield, though, because there's been a lot of questions among fans. Should they keep him on the staff come next season? Rule just straight up said, I'm not going to be firing people mid-season. Why would you? But what's your take?
It's like anything. At the end of the year, you evaluate. And I just look at it. I like Satterfield. I think he's a great guy. I think I had conversations with him. Several conversations with him, not about football, just getting to know him. But when you look at his history of everywhere he's been, he's never really had a top 50 or top 60 ranked offense total offense. So right there, kind of give you some leery, like, okay, can he really get it done? But I don't know. It's the first year. I don't want people to panic because of the staff. Because if you're gonna panic, then you look at and say, well, how come the young wide receivers aren't running the proper routes? Because they have a young guy that they had to put in there at the last second. So I just think once the evaluations come, and then let Coach Rule figure out what's the best decision for this program moving forward.
Well, I just don't believe that we should make our decisions mid-season.
Yeah.
We should wait till after the season and make a determination, because there's a lot of different places you can use your coaches and different things to do, but you shouldn't let them know that they're off the hook.
Right.
Because there's their problem. They're responsible, just as responsible as the athletes are on the field. They can't be unaccountable.
Yeah.
And he needs to take accountability for the type of calls that he's actually calling, because he doesn't have that much experience either.
Right. And that's the thing about it, where everybody gets evaluated from the coaches, from the head coach. Trev's going to evaluate him, and then he's going to evaluate his coaching staff, and they're going to decide do we need to make a change at the position, or do we need to go find better players at the position? So just wait till the end of the season and then let them go through their evaluation period.
Yeah, everybody gets evaluated except for Trev.
Well, Trev got evaluated.
You evaluated him.
No, Trev got evaluated, and he got a nice little raise.
He did.
And it comes from an outgoing president.
Yeah, on his way out.
On his way out.
He got a no-cut contract. 8 years.
Yeah, but you know what, though? But they're just saying that for what Trevor's done so far, with basketball, women's basketball attendance, sports attendance being up, baseball playing a little better, the basketball getting a little better.
Volleyball.
I think
soccer.
And Trevor's done some good things here at the university, but the one thing that we got to make sure that this football program gets to the point where it's winning consistently.
Yeah.
Well, only problem I have with the whole type of program is we give, in my estimation, too many guaranteed contracts and not enough incentives. If you can show that you're doing better, then we should reward you. We should reward you as you go. So I could give you, 2-3 years with options to go, but you got to earn the money.
I think that'll work with younger guys trying to make a name for themselves. But when you try and get the best coaches out there and other schools,
we're talking about the AD now, and coaches too.
Well, all these contracts are being guaranteed now because they. And
I'm just saying I don't agree with it.
I don't agree with it either. Because look at Jimbo Fisher. He got fired and then he walked away with $77 million.
Right.
Guaranteed it.
Who cares?
Yeah, but I just think that you're right. They need to be incentive laden. And they're not going to do it because of the TV money, but something's going to, and it's only going to get worse as the years go on.
It is going to get worse.
It's going to get worse.
It is going to, because we have a lot of coaches. I'm not saying ours at this point, but integrity is a big thing. You get $80 million, $100 million. It's hard to get up early in the morning. You ain't trying that hard.
I might get up early, but I might not go to sleep either.
You might not go to work. I might already be up.
Yeah, I might be partying. I might be rolling in.
That's right.
A little bit more on that Albert's contract. So this keeps him in Nebraska through 2031. Now his salary will be $1.7 million, and then it could go up to $2.1 million through 2026. So 150% increase. Mm-hmm. What do you think about that contract? I know you said you like the guy.
Look, if the programs are improving, and he's doing the things to put Nebraska athletics in the forefront of reaching their potential, I don't have a problem with it. If you're giving an offensive coordinator $1 million, and why not give you AD more than that? And so he's actually running more sports, all sports. So I think a lot of the ADs, if you look at the big scheme, are underpaid for what they have to go through and what they do.
Well, I feel they could be underpaid too, and they could be overpaid. And that's why the incentives or a contract kind of puts that in place where you can just pace it out. Anybody who really does well should get paid more, without a doubt. I do not agree with trying to get them the cheapest you can. I want to give you as much as you can, as much as you earn.
Be competitive.
Yeah. I want to let you know we really appreciate it. But when you already got it, you can't show them how much you appreciate it as the years goes on.
Right.
You don't even want to break it because you don't want to give it more. I mean, you could though.
You can always get more.
Yeah, if you got a president on his way out again.
You can always give more.
Just a parting gift.
Yeah, oh my
Very
God.
nice.
I'm leaving, so here's my gift to you. Let someone else deal with the contract. I'm going.
They can't deal with it. Ain't nothing they can do.
But you could though, because here's the thing about it. They can recommend any of these contracts, but the Board of Regents still have to approve these contracts.
Well, they've approved it.
And so it's like Trev wanted to pay Matt Rule this kind of his contract. It was he can't pay that much. Well, obviously the Board of Regents agreed with it because they approved it. If the Board of Regents said no, then they wouldn't have paid it. Mm-hmm. So everything, all these contracts still got to go through a group of people that actually run the university.
Well, I remember with Scott was in for just a year or so in his contract, and they renewed his contract, gave him more money. And look what happened.
I think his contract was always roll over every year, get another year. But I'm a firm believer, if you don't have a winning season, you don't get extra year.
Or extra money.
If you win, if you have a winning season, you go to the bowl game, then you get another year.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't, then I know they're saying, well, these coaches got to be aligned with recruiting. No, if you're not winning, then that's your fault. You're not going to be here anyway to recruit. So you give them a 5-year contract, and then if they win, have a winning season, you roll over. They have a losing season, it goes to 4.
Right.
If they win, then you keep it at 4 until.
Well, that's being reasonable.
It's being reasonable.
Rather than squandering money. The Big Ten's got a lot of money, so they just squandering money. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't incentivize people when you give them too much too soon or something for nothing.
No, it wasn't me.
No. Huh?
It wasn't me.
What, give you something for nothing?
It wouldn't incentivize me. You already got the money. It's guaranteed, so why not?
That's what I'm saying.
Johnny, you won? Okay, whatever. How many you lost? Oh, well, I'm still going to get
a lot of money and get fired, too.
You won't get up. Yeah, you get fired.
Oh, they fired me. I still got $60 million walking out the door with, so I don't got to work for 7 years. 7 years.
Guys, let's talk a little bit more about that QB situation. So Heinrich apparently dealing with an ankle injury. It's said to be a high ankle sprain, which is very worrisome.
It is. Yeah, he's probably done until bowl game. If they go to the bowl game.
That would be my assumption as well. So now you have Jeff Sims and Chubba Purdy, who both haven't been completely healthy this entire season. They've been taking the majority of reps at practice. Who do you trust more?
Chubba.
Why?
Because, Jeff had an opportunity this week, especially this week, with him being the starter. And was coming in the game when he did, and playing 2 quarters and had 3 turnovers, you can't trust him. And right there, showing you can't trust him. And there's something mentally that's going on in his head, because it's not somebody that's been here at Nebraska. It was when he was at Georgia Tech too. So I just think, and as a coach, you can't trust him, because if you're gonna get a ball away every 4 or 5 plays, you're gonna lose a game. And so Chubba's the guy that I think I trust right now more than Jeff.
Well, if Jeff, they already knew about Jeff before, how did they go in the portal to get him to bring him here in the first place?
It's a really good question.
That's the one they went and got.
They looked at his athletic ability, because that's what Satterfield wanted, was a guy who can run, and hey, it just hadn't worked out. And you win some, you lose some, and this one right here, it was a bust.
Well, I like Chubba.
That's why you don't always go in the portal.
That's right.
Because they're hit and miss.
You just don't know.
You don't know.
Yeah. And you look at his time at Georgia Tech, and again, he had the same issues with turnovers there. And maybe, hey, it just didn't pan out. But I got this question posed to me by a friend, so I want to ask you guys. But do you think the starting quarterback for next season is on the Nebraska roster right now?
I do.
Who do you think that is?
I think it's Harper. I think it's Heinrich until someone beats him out. Because he's proven that the more he plays, the better he gets. And I think by him hurting his ankle was hurt Nebraska. They weren't expecting for him to be out of the game that quick. So I think he's a starter until someone comes in and beat him out. Now you go out and find someone with probably just as much talent, and they have to beat him out. But I think he's going to be the starter going into next year.
Well, it's hard. He's done a lot. He makes some great runs. He's made passes. But I'm not sure if he's really consider himself a quarterback. I don't think that's where he might want to be.
No, he's a quarterback.
He's
a quarterback. That's where he wants to be.
He's not a traditional type quarterback. Let's say that.
Well, I don't think any. I
don't think any of those three are.
I don't think any quarterback in college football is traditional.
Chubba's he has a quarterback background. I don't think that he does. Chubba has a quarterback background.
Heinrich was one of the top quarterbacks coming out of Nebraska when he came out of high school. So
Kearney Catholic.
Yeah, so I mean, it's and I told someone this the other day, when you look at quarterback position, when you hear 1 year under one defense under one coordinator, and then that coordinator leaves, another comes in, they have their own training way they want to do things and how they run their system, to where it's tough for a young quarterback to actually pick up things quicker, as slow as they're picking it up. And I just think it's going to take time. Another spring ball up on the Satterfield, who I think they're going to see improvement.
Well, one thing that would really help out too is if you had more protection. And if you have a good line. I always say that when you get a quarterback that does well or a running back that does well, it's because you got a good line.
If they sign 12 offensive linemen and 10 defensive linemen in this class, I won't care. I'll be happy.
Right. That's what we need. And we don't want them. We need them.
But we need depth.
I'm curious next year if they do, say, dip into the portal, get a quarterback. Is that just kind of a Band-Aid situation? You grab a grad transfer, let's say, for 1 year, and you throw him in, and then you're still developing Heinrich. He comes in as a backup. Is that a good solution, or do you want to develop those guys?
I mean, it just depends. I mean, it depends on how dire you are in looking for a quarterback. I mean, it just was, why do you go in the portal and get transferred guys? Because you need immediate help right now.
You need it now.
You need help now, but if you...
But they always need help now, it seems.
Yeah, but
different positions,
but if you're in the process of trying to build and trying to get players to understand your system from freshman up, then you figure out, let's get a young quarterback out of high school and let's groom him that way. So I mean, it just depends on if they're in dire straits right now or if they're panicking. And right now, I don't think there's a need to panic right now.
Well, even though we need quarterbacks bad, I would almost go in that portal looking for linemen.
Linemen more than quarterback.
More than quarterbacks, because we can make it with the quarterback, but we can't make it with the line where the quarterback doesn't have the time and the be comfort for the protection that he needs to really develop himself.
Yeah, if you have better line,
when you're running all the time and you're scared all the time, it makes a big difference. And when you drop back there and the fellow's got you covered.
Better line play makes the quarterback play a lot easier.
Oh
Fight better. So.
You could be a star, anybody, if you got time.
Yes, Johnny can play quarterback and be a star back there.
I have.
At 73. I'm saying at 73.
72, but
You can make him look good.
I can take it for 2 more years.
2 more years.
Yeah, for how much could I get?
Right, that's right.
We can find some NIL deals for you.
Shoot.
Okay, so let's move on to the Wisconsin matchup, Nebraska.
No, let's talk about the defense, though.
Okay.
You got a defensive coordinator who's up for the Frank Royals Award.
And also, you want to keep him in Nebraska is another good point.
You want to keep him, so you have to empty the purse on him.
Better pay the man.
Right.
And he's earned his pay.
And I agree with that.
He's earned his pay.
I agree with that. No problem.
Well, what do you like about the defense then?
Defense, it wasn't the stellar defense that you've seen prior, but they didn't break. They bent a little bit, but they didn't break. And when you're battling 5 turnovers, it's tough. And still really only give up 10 points, 13 points. That your defense played well enough, very well, to win that game.
Well, I think they played well, too. And, I don't think a lot of the teams that we played against are that good, but they still played to the level that was necessary. And they are growing. They are getting better all the time. So as we get more competition, we got to go in there and run off with UCLA and USC. Then we got people that are prepared to do that we've grown. Mm-hmm. I wish our offense was growing just like that. That'd be great. That'd be fabulous.
Right, and it's 2 different type of intensities when you watch them practice. Where defense, you just see them flying around, coaches are coaching. Offense is kind of more relaxed, make a mistake, let's move on to the next play. And it's like, no, you gotta correct that right there. Don't let a mistake go by. Mm-hmm. And I think that's something that hopefully if they get to next year, because you can't change it now because it is what it is right now.
Well, one of the things I really liked about Rule when I first met him and I went down to see the practices, anybody that was making mistakes, they were trying to correct them right then.
Right.
They were stopping practice to let you know the point at that time, at that spot. And I thought that was good. You don't put it off to the meeting. We'll talk about it when we can look at it. We're going to talk about it now.
Right.
And that's part of, I think that's part of how he got to relate to them so well, that he was making them better each man at a time. Mm-hmm. They just were not up to the level quick enough right now for.
Yeah, I mean, you can coach your team as much as you want, but it doesn't matter if they don't execute it on the actual field.
Well, in reality, I had information at the beginning of the season, before the season even started, that they didn't think that they were going to win 6 games. With the people that they had, that they had to work with those people. And I told them I couldn't, we got to go to the bowl game. They said, well, we know 5, but not 6.
Right.
Yeah, but we give away. We give it away.
We're giving away 3 games.
Yeah, they had it right there at any point in time. Still got it right now. The opportunity to go to that bowl game, and I'm pretty sure the team that we're playing now, it's going to be very difficult not to get it. We really have to try to beat ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, so Wisconsin, I don't see anything fancy with Wisconsin. They're not, the defense is not what they used to be, because Wisconsin used to be Iowa, to where one thing, their defense wasn't going to give up much, and the offense is going to play well enough to put points on the board. But this year, they're not the same team. They're a totally different team than what we've seen in the past. And them losing at home last week to Northwestern, the way they did, it's like, wow, I've never thought Northwestern would go into Camp Randall and beat them the way they did.
Yeah, and the fans aren't happy up in Wisconsin. I mean, that's very unacceptable for where Wisconsin's been in the past 5 years or so. But, I mean, you have to factor in all those changes at coach, too.
Once again, look at the West. Look at all the coaching changes you've had, and look at the team's records.
Yeah, it's been downhill for sure.
It's not like it's rocket science. You can't figure that out. The team that had first-year coaches don't have winning schedule, winning records. The ones that had coaches that's been there more than 2-3 years have winning records.
Yeah. Wisconsin has changed a lot.
Yeah, they changed three or four coaches in the last 6-7 years.
And changed their offense the way they used to run the offense. They used to have the real big guys.
Right.
And they just going to plunge it down slowly but surely. They're going to work it down. Now they throw more than we do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Nebraska's 4.5-point underdogs at Wisconsin. Never beaten them up there, and haven't beat the Badgers in general since 2012. And that matchup record was actually posted around the Nebraska locker room, and they asked Rule about it today at the press conference, and he said he didn't do it. No, he's like, I didn't do that, but it could have been a player, could have been a strength coach.
I know nothing.
To me, that means hill of beans for this team. What happened in the past? Because you still got to go out and play the game.
Right.
Just like last year when Nebraska finally beat Iowa, that didn't mean anything. They won that year. Now you got to follow up and beat them this year. So you still got to play the game. Each year is different. Each team is different. And I think Nebraska need to win this one for sure to go to the bowl game. Because Iowa, I don't know if they're going with Iowa coming up. I don't know.
They need to win this one for sure.
Yeah, because I don't know.
If they win this one and the next one, they're set for they can win the conference.
Yeah, they're tied for it. They can tie for it. Yeah,
I know they would be up there.
Yeah, they're tied for it. Yeah, but I just think the Wisconsin game, they put more pressure on them than they needed because by giving the last 2 weeks games away.
Yeah, out of those two games, you would say Wisconsin's the more winnable one for sure. Even if it's on the road.
Yes. Yep.
Well, both teams are 5-5, obviously seeking bowl games, so everyone's pretty hungry for a win here. Nebraska's lost 2 straight, Wisconsin's lost 3 straight, so it can't be a situation like Michigan State where you kind of came in pretty confident to win that matchup, and Michigan State had lost 6 in a row. Johnny mentioned it was their senior day. You have to factor that all into that motivation, and Wisconsin wants to win at home in front of those fans that I've seen at this point in the year.
They want to beat
Everyone
Nebraska.
wants to beat Nebraska.
You know, Barry Everett, he built that program based off what Nebraska was built off of, and then in the last 20 years, they've actually made it better than Nebraska did.
I think you got a bowl game at stake.
Yeah.
Absolutely, for both teams.
You got 15 more practices. Coaches get extra time. You're on the trip. I mean, this is a big deal. And like I said, if we don't win it, if they don't win it either, likelihood of really going to a bowl game is slim and none.
Yeah. They would definitely have to take a really good game against Iowa to make that happen. Johnny, you bring up a good point, though, about the 15 extra practices for a bowl game. And I think Nick Boss said this on his podcast, but he went back and calculated over the years how many practices Nebraska had missed out on. It was 90.
Yeah, that's a lot of practice.
That's a lot of practice. Just from your days, what do you remember about those leading up to bowl game practices, how much those really mattered, how much you learned?
Well, I don't think what it did for us was kept us in shape. You know, it kept us, because you know, you practicing 2 or 3, sometimes almost a month before you play, so it kept you in the rhythm, kept you in shape. I think that's more so what we used it for, because, you know, we didn't play a lot of young guys because everybody was brought up through the system, but it just kept our timing down, because we ran the option that kept our timing down. So, but it still helps because those are extra practices.
Right.
Oh, we need repetition. You know, we need to stay on it, be fresh with it, and I'm sure they're going to put in some extra plays. You know, like maybe some extra trick plays or whatever. But it's going to be more for them to do, and they just need to. If you let them go and they just go off on your own, you don't get nothing. So just sticking together and just the repetition, I think, is a really big deal. Yeah,
and if they do make that bowl game, there would be a chance that Heinrich does come back for that game. So there's something to live for in that respect. I have no idea what we're going to see out of Sims or Chuba, whoever starts this game. I think Satterfield even said you could see all 3 quarterbacks. They know Heinrich won't start, but
he won't play.
He could. They're saying that he'll practice tomorrow.
He won't play. High ankle sprains, you just don't recover that fast from high ankle sprains.
I don't think so either, but why would they? I mean, why are they putting that bug in people's ears?
To keep the option, not to show who their hand or who's going to be what got to prepare for.
Right.
How can you run an offense with Jeff Sims or Chuba Purdy? What do you do?
Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Do things and don't. Here's what I say: the game plan should be. Don't do anything that's going to put the defense in a bad situation, because the defense, I think, is going to play well enough to give you opportunities. And you just capitalize on a few opportunities you get, but you can't go out there and you turn the ball over and put the defense in a short field every time. If you put the defense in a short field 5 times this week, they're going to lose.
It knocks the wind out of you. You know, I mean, the defense plays hard to get you in a good deal, and you turn the ball over and they're right back on the field again. That's frustrating. You know, people don't have confidence at that point in time because they're playing as hard as they can.
Right.
And so when they do something good, you need to come in and do something good. So we can just keep it going back and forth.
How many risks do you want to see Nebraska take? Like how many 20-plus yard passing throws?
Well, I think you got to. I think you have to do it to keep the defense honest, because you just can't sit and say we're going to run the game, run. You got to show them that, hey, we're going to take chances deep and just put it in their heads. I think if you throw about 6 or 7 deep passes a game, I think it's sufficient enough to force the defense to, wait a minute, we can't put 9 guys in the box. We got to wait, because they will sneak one behind us.
I feel we got to be going for it. We can't act like we're the old Wisconsin where we're just going to pound you down.
You still got to play the win.
We don't have a good enough team to do that. We have to put some creativity in there and try to establish the type of thing that we can do.
Yep.
And we need to work with the receivers that we got. But like I said, when you're playing the zone, like Tommy, when people are reading the zone, they're trying to get to their position, and you know where they're going.
Right, and you're just gonna
you know where they're going.
And get to your position.
Get to your spot, and they throw the spot. But I've seen several times that our receivers stop.
Because they don't.
Stop, and they know where they're supposed to be. They got to know where they're supposed to be.
But
they don't be there.
But that goes back to them being young. Because when you play like, I know you're saying they're still football players, but they're still young to where they got to understand that because I'm supposed to stop here, but there's a hole over here. Let's move over here into this zone right here. Because those guys know where you're dropping to, so you got to play the game and
you know where you're supposed to be.
You know where you're supposed to be. So if you got to just move over to the next hole.
I think it's a lot about adjusting, and I don't think that's what we saw of Heinrich is his ability to adjust, and I think that's kind of why he struggled against defenses.
But that's the way all the quarterbacks are, though.
I think it's how all the Nebraska quarterbacks have been, because you look at the interceptions, they're just overthrowing the ball. It's like, is it miscommunication on routes? Is it the wide receivers? Is it the play calls?
It just goes back to how they've been coached, and we said it off air. One quarterback makes a mistake, it's one thing. Okay, maybe it's the quarterback, but when 2 and 3 quarterbacks are making the same exact mistakes the first guy made, to me, that's coaching. That's how they've been coached.
To make mistakes?
Well, if they're making the same mistake, yeah, because it's how they're reading the coverages.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're coaches to make some
obviously
mistakes.
not.
But the coaches are just they're not showing up either. Like I said, some of the plays that they're calling, that we should. I don't even know how we got to that point where we're passing on third down and we're down in the red zone.
Does Rule call the plays now?
No.
You think he doesn't give that up?
No.
He could tell them we don't want it. He could tell them.
He can suggest the game plan what he wants, but
I mean, in that situation, he could just say, "We're down here."
And he's done. And I heard he did that before in a game. To no, don't run that play. Run this.
Yeah, don't pass it. Don't put it in there.
Right. So, I just think there's times where the offensive coordinator has to understand the situation and the outcome. If you do it this way, we win. We do it this way, not anything bad. Something bad's gonna happen.
They put Satterfield up in the press box instead of having him on the sideline with the quarterback. Do they need a quarterback coach just to be down there? Because I would assume right now it's just Rule coaching that quarterback versus Satterfield, who's up in the press box calling plays.
Who knows? I mean, it's one of those deals. You got to ask the quarterbacks, do you feel better with him down the field? Or for me, I had Turner Gill on the field. Head coach Osborne on the field. But there's a lot of quarterbacks coach who are up in the box. And then they send messages either through the phone or the wide receiver coach will say, hey, this coverage here, look for this right here, this is what we're seeing. So it just depends on what the quarterbacks feel.
Yeah.
Well, you can see far more up in the press box
as a coordinator.
On the field. And you're sending them down, and they're sending them in. But Coach Osborne was our offensive coordinator. He could see from up there, and I felt great every time he called a play. So I figured it was going to work. It would work. But it was. I don't think they do as well. They can't see as much on the field. Somebody has to be up in the box.
And the key is that do you trust your assistant coaches upstairs going to really write information when you call the game? Because when I was at Baylor, our offensive coordinator was up in the box, and then he moved down to the field because he trusted myself and the wide receiver coaches going to get him in the right covers and right defense. What they're doing, So it truly depends on where the offensive coordinator feel more comfortable with.
And I think Rule's done a good job of not micromanaging Satterfield or the coordinators. I feel like there's a lot of trust. Do you think that's warranted?
Well, you hired him.
You're also friends with them too.
If you hired a guy, you obviously you had enough trust in him because you hired him. So you got now, like I say, once at the end of the season, you evaluate them.
Right.
Well, in their mind, starting from the beginning of the season, they're right where they thought they'd be. So it's nothing to really be that upset about because they figured they were going to be right here at this time, 5 games in, 5, 6, possibly 7, but it's not a shock. I think it's just the shock is that we just had an opportunity to be better than they thought.
Have more wins.
Better than they thought. When we started the
show, I said I think Nebraska will be 66-75 at best. And as a season, I was like, wait a minute, they can win more games than the way they're playing.
They could have, They've been in a position to.
But
should have.
And from the day one, I said 66. I think Nebraska probably 66 at the end of the year. And it's still feasible.
Yeah, it's still feasible. I mean, we got a really good chance now and an outside chance if we don't win now.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about defense, too, and what you want to see against Wisconsin, a team that hasn't put up a ton of points. They average around 23 a game.
Attack. Mm-hmm. You attack them. Don't let them attack you because you know they're going to come out fired up, home, playing against Nebraska. 6:30 kickoff game, night game in Camp Randall.
Yeah, prime time.
So they're going to be fired up. So I think Nebraska need to come out on defense. Let's say, no, we're coming at you.
Well, they're going to put the ball in the air. They're definitely going to put the ball in the air. They didn't flopped over. They're not going to try and establish that run nearly as much as they used to, and that's where we have problems covering deep patterns. Mm-hmm. So hopefully we get that under control.
Yeah.
Because that's where the big mistakes are going to come. We don't want a big play and keep them down there where even if they're kicking field goals, if he's scoring all the time or too much, it could really make the difference in the game.
How aggressive can you be on those blitz packages versus worrying about your secondary?
Very. Because you get pressure on a guy, no matter what you're doing in the backfield.
Booty get tight.
Yeah, you don't matter.
That's when it gets tight.
That's when you cause the issues.
Yeah, you cause the issues because now you force him to get rid of the ball as quick. That's one for Johnny. That's when you force the quarterback to to throw the ball sooner than he wants to.
Right.
So you blitz and you blitz and you blitz. It's like on remember the Titans. We're gonna blitz them and they better not get another yard.
That's right.
And when you force them to be perfect.
Absolutely. Biggest keys in your mind for Husker win, but you can't say the word turnover.
Well, I didn't say it last week. Johnny said I didn't say it last week.
Fact check that.
I didn't. Johnny, I said I'm not gonna say turnover because we already know turnovers. I think get off the field on third downs for defense.
Okay.
You're gonna have an opportunity. The third down, you can't let them convert third and medium to third and long. You gotta get off the field.
Well, I just think that we just have to get better up front. Our guys got to just dig down and give him more time to do more things. Because if we can hold them, then you can probably do what you want. Mm-hmm. When you got somebody down on your back all the time, you don't know when, you play altogether different.
Let's open it up to questions from the crowd.
Yes, open up the questions.
Cam will get that mic passed around. He already knows where to go with the first question.
He's going to the table with the guy over there in the corner.
Where are we starting?
She has one.
Yeah.
All right, okay. Here we go.
So my question is, do you think that Sims has strengths and it would be in a different position? And yes, if yes, what would it be?
Well, no matter what kind of strengths you have, you can't protect the football. Because you still got to carry the ball at receiver, you still got to carry the ball at running back. So if you can't protect the football, then you're no good for anybody.
Yeah, I think he'd make a great wide receiver, but if he caught it and fumbled,
it don't make a difference.
That's fair.
Maybe a safety. Maybe he can play safety where he hits somebody.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about.
You don't have to worry about catching it.
Just diving
hitting people.
So I obviously have not played football, but if he was in a different position, would he be coached different? So that strength would be.
Yes, he'll be coached by a totally different coach. He'll be coached a totally different way of how the game is being played.
If he was coached to play defense, then we wouldn't have access to that problem at all. Yeah.
Thank you.
And he's an athlete. Athletes can make that adjustment.
Yeah,
if
absolutely.
he played defensive back or something, he probably could play safety.
Look at Tommy Hill. Yeah. That's what they did. Yeah. He went from DB to wide receiver and then back to DB. And so, you see it all the time to where guys might start on one side of the ball, but being projected down the road, but it's been a corner.
Mm-hmm. I think he'd make a great defensive back. You know why?
He's long.
They teach them to knock the ball down.
Here we go.
Boy. Hey, it is a good point, though, because he cannot redshirt medically now, so he can't grad transfer, essentially. So, yeah, if they can use him in a different way, I see more power to you.
And they'll figure it out in the offseason.
Yeah.
They'll figure it out.
Do you guys think there's an area in the country we need to put more emphasis on our recruiting, that we're not going after guys in?
People always say an era. I think you go out and you find guys that fit your system. I think the problem with college football, college sports, you let these recruiting analysts tell you about 5 stars and 4 stars and 3 stars, and a lot of times those guys don't fit you. Recruiting stars instead of recruiting guys that fit your system and fit well what you do. So wherever part of the country, whether it's in Nebraska, whether it's Florida, California, Hawaii, you go get guys that fit you what you do best. Don't worry about where they're ranked in the national media.
Recruiting is an art. They have guys they've been looking at. Hopefully, they've been looking at all season long.
Right.
They should be pinpointed where our weaknesses are and who could fill that and become a strength. Recruiting is tough though, and then once you get it, you got to go out there and beg them. Because a lot of people don't really want to come to a losing program, but then there's others they can see in their eyes, well, I could be there, I could help, I could do that. They can count on me for that position, and those guys you really want.
And here's the reason why I always tell people stop paying attention to stars, because they don't really. A lot of the time, the top 4 or 5 stars, probably 10% of them actually pan out. And here's a perfect example: Anthony Grant was the top running back coming out of junior college, #1 player in junior college when he came out, and look at him now. So I mean, it's all about once you get on college, that guy that you're playing with and playing against is just as good as you. And so it's the one who wants the ball, who has a bigger heart, is going to make sure that they get the opportunity to play. So stop worrying about stars and worry about what they do when they get in college, because everybody in college is in college for a reason.
And how they're going to play with others, with the team. A lot of guys are great, they think they're great, but they're not guys that are that coachable or play with the rest of the team.
Right.
It's a team thing for real. You can't do anything on that field by yourself. It's all everything put together. You got to do your job. But if you don't do your job, then I don't care how good the rest of them are. We have issues.
Got another one.
So we've been talking. But I finished my chicken wings before asking this question. So we talked a lot about, or you guys talked a lot about this podcast about, the coaching or the quarterbacks being coached wrong to make a mistake. At what point do you look to those upperclassmen to coach the younger guys? And for you guys both, did you guys have upperclassmen that helped coach you? And who would you look towards on this team?
But here, that's in a normal circumstance, that would be great. That's what's supposed to happen. But look at this program. They don't have anyone who has success of winning. Because when winning is contagious, and right now losing is contagious because that's what they know for all these years. We had guys when I got here to where we were player-led. Coach Osborne let the players lead the team. Now the coaches have to lead the team because these players don't know how to win. You think they do, but they don't. And then there's no one they can look up to and knowing that, hey, this guy's going to get us fired up to win the game. Because if there was, then they wouldn't be losing in the games that they're losing right now.
Well, they're winning about as many games, I tell you, as they thought they were going to win. So they think they're doing okay. But there were so many games we could have done far better. Far better. We just gave games away that we really should have been winning, but they didn't believe they could do it. And you got to believe it. If things come to you as you believe you can, or you believe you can't. Whatever you believe, you're probably going to be right.
And then another thing, captains. They keep changing captains week in and week out to where, I think when Johnny was there, you guys had the same captains the whole season.
Right.
We had the same captains the whole season, so everything went through the captain, and captains were responsible for making sure everything ran. And when you have guys changing every week, everyone leads differently. But when we voted on our captain, so we knew the guys that was going to get us motivated, weren't going to let things slide through. And I think that's what they need to go back through, because we chose our leaders. And they took it personally, saying, okay, then it's our job to make sure that we don't fall by the wayside, that this team's going to be successful.
And if you were making all those mistakes, you had to deal with the captains. Yeah. And they were upperclassmen.
You were running the stairs with Johnny.
With Tommy.
With Tom.
Well, you and Tom.
Yeah.
If you made a mistake.
Yeah.
You were joining them.
I would just run because
he didn't want to practice on Monday.
No.
He didn't want to practice on Monday.
No, because I was going to show out on Saturday.
Why practice on Monday if you can just be a Heisman Trophy winner on
Saturday? Yeah.
Any more questions for the crowd? Anybody else? Going once, going twice. Well, good thing, guys. I have questions for you.
Oh, my God.
Here we go.
We've got some trivia.
It is 1955 trivia where she gets to answer wrong, too.
Yeah.
She gets to answer wrong, too.
It's going to be even.
I can't remember day before yesterday.
This is going to go back to 1890.
I have no idea.
The buggy, the gnats.
Yeah, the buggies.
Kind of on that same topic, but I'm not putting that as one of the options because everyone knows the bug eaters. Which of the following was not a nickname for Nebraska? So I made up one of these.
Okay.
The Tree Planters, the Haymakers, or the Rattlesnake Boys. One of those is fake.
Tree makers?
Tree Planters.
Tree planters?
Mm-hmm. Is that your?
I'm going to say the Rattlesnake Boys.
What's your?
Trees.
Incorrect. It was the Haymakers I made up. So the Rattlesnake Boys and the Tree Planters were both nicknames for Nebraska. Don't know why, but yeah. It's on the internet, so it has to be true.
I don't see very many rattlesnakes in Nebraska. Have you? Yeah, I don't see them.
Oh, I know they plant trees, but we're Cornhuskers.
And we do a lot of hay.
This one's a weird one.
I'm telling you, these questions, man, you digging deep.
How y'all doing? Come on in. All right.
Who was the first team Nebraska ever beat in 1890? And it's not a college.
Boys Town.
YMCA.
It is the YMCA. It's the Omaha YMCA. Wow. Only if they got to still play them.
I was just joking.
The Omaha YMCA.
Johnny was part of that team. He was part of that team.
November 27th, 1890, they beat Omaha YMCA. True or false, Nebraska has played Creighton in football?
True.
Well, I say true because it sounds ridiculous.
It's true, yeah. Yeah, they got rid of their football team. Believe there were some World War II issues going on, so they needed those guys for other things. And
we're going to have drawings here in a minute.
They need the Jesuits. They
needed
to send them out on the line, so.
No, we don't need you to sing.
There is no place like Nebraska.
We just said we didn't need anybody to sing.
Huh? What?
Johnny wants to sing. Let him sing.
That's right.
Okay. Okay. Now we karaoke now.
Whatever it takes.
This
trying
one
to get him in here.
This one's just for Johnny. Okay, I need it. I'm pulling back on your memory.
I have none. I didn't wear my helmet half the time.
They were the leather helmets. They weren't protective.
That's right.
No, he's not talking about
that. It had no face
He's talking about the medical helmet. He's talking about the medical helmet.
Where did he shock you? Is he shock treatment?
The Omaha Supernovas. It's a new professional team in Omaha. What sport do they play?
Oh, we just talked about this last week, didn't we? I don't care. And they're going to be there. They play at the arena, the CHI.
Yeah.
Right?
What sport?
Volleyball.
Yeah. Omaha Supernovas. Guys, you can get tickets at supernovas.com. Season tickets. I know Johnny's getting season tickets for all of his grandkids.
So people that weren't here last week don't understand why that's funny to us.
It is funny. So we were talking about the Supernovas. Great organization coming to Omaha, January 24, professional volleyball, super awesome. And Johnny, like a minute, 2 minutes later, is like, and I also heard volleyball's coming to Omaha professionally. And we're like, Johnny, we just talked about, I just did a whole ad read on them maybe 30 seconds ago.
I was at the press conference.
Johnny's worried about the mics at the press conference,
right.
And we're talking about professional women's sports. Come on now, what are we doing? Should I get more trivia questions?
This is the first professional women's sport that we've had in Nebraska, isn't it?
No.
Who else?
Well, you had the football league, the latest
indoor football league. This is the first major professional.
Well,
correct.
Professional.
Yeah.
Semi-pro. They were semi-pro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we have semi-pro teams all over, but
right.
This is the first pro team for ladies that we've had in any event that I know about.
Yeah, first time in America that women can play volleyball here. So before they've had to go overseas. And they're actually going to do a draft right before the Volleyball National Championships. This is pretty cool. So they'll draft college players.
Nice.
And that'll be really interesting. The Supernovas have the last pick because they're pretty much poised to be the best team in the league.
Right.
I mean, their roster is completely stacked with All-Americans and stuff. But I think it'll be fun. Like, you get to see volleyball players that you watch on TV and Nebraska players get drafted. I mean, how cool is that?
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Do we want more trivia?
Sure, why not?
Who was Nebraska's first football coach?
Oh my God!
I don't know.
Well, you have to give us some.
Okay, I'll give you the options.
Yeah.
Bill Jennings.
Dr. Langdon Frothingham, T.U. Lyman, J.S. Williams, or Frank Crawford.
I'm gonna say J.S. Williams because it sounds like a coach. Dr. Frank Crofton, whatever his name is. That sounds like a surgeon.
Don't look at my screen.
I'll go for Frank.
That's incorrect. They're all. Those are all incorrect. The doctors, actually.
I can't see that far anyway.
You can't see my screen. Dr. Langdon Frothingham was the first coach in 1890.
You got to give us more history that we actually.
That we might have been around.
These are so funny, though. I'm like, what? Is this real?
Obviously, you had to research it, so you had to research it means we're not going to know it.
Prior to 2008, what was the longest winning streak in Nebraska history?
Well, from longest winning streak, whether it's like from 72 to
It's actually after.
Wasn't 72 because
It was
we
in the
lost a couple
90s.
games in 72.
Longest.
Longest win streak.
Oh, it was 27 games, wasn't it?
Close.
It was
25.
26.
It was Nebraska. It's like 90.
Yeah, it was 96 entering the Arizona State game.
Right.
And then Nebraska lost. Ooh.
We got shut out too.
What is the only game that you played in or started, I forget which one, that you lost to a team in the regular season?
Iowa State.
You want to know a funny story about that?
It better be funny.
So I called my dad after the show, and he's like, you need to bring this up to Tommy. I called in on a radio show he was on. My dad's a huge Iowa State fan. The whole family went there. He's like, I asked him who's the only team he lost to in the regular season, and he said Iowa State.
That's the only one.
So my dad got you one time. Pretty good.
Yeah, one time.
Runs in the family.
Yeah.
I think my senior year,
What happened?
we lost to Iowa State.
What's your problem with Iowa State?
We lost.
Turnovers?
No, we lost.
The conference tough.
No,
They always tough.
No,
they always
we
put
can
tough.
honestly say it's one game we overlooked. We overlooked them. We didn't turn the ball over. They just beat us.
My dad will be very happy to hear that. Well, he's still living by that win, I'm sure. Dr. Tom Osborne's last win was for the Big 12 title. True or false?
That was false.
That was true.
That's true. Dr. Tom Osborne won the last game of his career. He beat Tennessee in the Orange, or excuse me, yeah, you're right.
Thank you.
Sorry. Don't know what I'm doing agreeing with Johnny. So his last one was the Orange Bowl.
Yeah, the championship game.
Yeah.
Yep.
He went out on the championship.
He went out as a winner, huh?
Yeah, she said last. You said Big 12. She said
Yeah, not Big 12.
Big 12 is his championship. His last
Okay.
one.
Everyone knows that I'm reading this for the first time, so bear with me. Everyone knows that Matt Davison caught the kicked ball in 1997 Missouri game. Who
Matt
kicked the
Davis.
ball to keep it off the ground?
Chevin Wiggins. He's one of my high school teammates.
What do you remember about that?
He kicked the ball up. It was actually the ball actually was going to him. Chevin went through. He was falling down and he kicked the ball up and Matt came out of nowhere. Yeah, but Chevin,
I didn't watch that game.
Yeah, but Chevin went to my high school.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's the catch that Matt made that
Yeah.
made him famous.
Yeah,
Oh,
The
God.
one catch that he got.
The one catch.
The one catch.
The one catch.
That's what I called him when I seen him. One catch.
Yep.
Who was the first Nebraska football player to go on to play football after college?
The first?
The first.
She asked all this.
What year was that?
1943.
1920.
Let's wrap it up now.
We need Google.
Guy
I don't
Chamberlain.
know. Guy,
That's okay.
that's a famous name.
I think it's good with trivia today.
We got an F on this quiz.
Yes, we did.
Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Let's give away some stuff, but we had some new faces walk in, so I want to get their names all in
Yes.
before we draw for a winner. So that'll do it for the show portion. We'll talk to you guys next time, which won't be Thursday because it's Thanksgiving, unless you guys want to have a big Thanksgiving meal together. But we'll see you potentially for a bowl game.
Yep.
Okay,
What are the odds?
I'd like to, this family here, I brought an extra helmet for this family right here. But I
Okay.
think we should give this to them.
I would
No,
agree.
we're not giving them
because
anything.
they've been here.
They've been here every show.
They've been here for every show. Yeah, every show.
Well,
They've
she
been
has to
loyal.
because she was in charge of social media.
I said family. Family.
Just those guys.
No, and she forces him to come.
Yeah.
We know too much.
One of
We know
his
too
honey
much.
dudes.
Yeah.
Honey, do this.
She knows exactly where he's at, when he's at.
All right, let's end this thing on a Go Big Red chant. If this is the last one and they don't make a bowl game.
Oh,
Which isn't
Mike,
gonna
don't say
happen,
that.
right?
This will be the
Don't say
last
that.
one. I told you we got to record
No.
the show.
Oh, yeah, we got to recruit. We got to go to the portal. All right, ready?
Go Big Red.
All right, thanks, guys.
We in it to win it.